You are watching the American Conference on ESPN. We welcome you to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa for this matchup featuring the Pirates and the Bulls. Inside the booth, along with Ray Bentley, I'm Dave Lamont. And Ray, I doubt there's hardly any college football team that has had the kind of adventure to start the month of September what the Pirates have gone through.
Yeah, they've been sequestered in a hotel in Orlando for the last 10 days. That helps build the team, but it also means you haven't played football in a long time. So they could come out a little rusty, or they could come out ready. We'll find out.
Additional motivation, you see that one Carolina sticker. Teams in North and South Carolina, because they were victimized by this powerful storm, are wearing that in solidarity today. The players didn't know about that until just when they arrived here at Raymond James. And ECU will get the ball first to start the evening here on this gorgeous field. I mean, it's going to be the site of Super Bowl 55 here, Raymond James Stadium. And there's Blake Barnett. One of the most interesting stories in college football this year. The 22-year-old father, a married man of a 6-week-old, I believe, baby. Or 6 months, pardon me. You're the 6-week-old grandfather. That's what I'm thinking of. And he was at Alabama. He was at a junior college and didn't play football. He played very briefly at Arizona State. He has graduated, but he has found a home with this USF side and got this Bulls team clean through 3 games. Toe meets leather, we're underway. Very short kickoff taken to the 6-yard line. And very well covered by the Bulls, unable to get out to the 20, and you saw a penalty flag fly in. What we do have is ECU on offense, and their quarterback, the sophomore Reed Herring out of Raleigh.
I like Herring, Dave. I think he's going to be a good one. He's grown up through this system, which I think is helpful. Their last several quarterbacks have been graduate transfers, and they had to jam everything into him in 1 year. Herring's been in this system now 3 years, and he knows where to go with football.
Going to come firing out right away. East Carolina is known for their passing attack. The intended receiver, Terrell Green, was very well covered. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
They love to throw those fade balls down the sideline, and a lot of them end up being back shoulder throws, which I think Herring is much better at the back shoulder than laying it out over the top trying to drop it in. You'll see corners, both of them pressing to try and disrupt the timing of this passing game.
Hand off here to Anthony Scott, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that will be about all. No gain on the play, 3rd down and 10. USF has been a strong defensive side over the years.
And they are really good over the years, Dave. They got some young guys in there that are getting their chance to be good, and I'm especially impressed with Livingstone and Kevin Keegler, those 2 big defensive tackles.
And Livingstone was in on that one, so you're looking at a 3rd and long right away.
Here comes that blitz.
Quick throw, 1st down. That is Green, who's a senior, coming in across the 30-yard line to make a gain of 13-yard line. Nice throw there on the target by Herring.
Yeah, Herring's very accurate on the intermediate stuff, especially over the middle of the field. He throws dimes. In fact, I think he throws it well to the outside. His issue is the deep ball, but he mitigates that with the back shoulder stuff. So I tell you what, I've been impressed with him. He grew a lot from week 1 to week 2 in their first 2 games of the year.
Back to the air, and that was nearly picked. Green, his target again. And that time, Greg Reeves, the defensive end who had dropped back in coverage, was actually closer to that pass than Green was.
Yeah, and I don't think Reed Herring saw Greg Reeves, the defensive end, drop back there. And I also think his receiver broke outside, and he expected an inside break from Green.
Another throw, slant across the middle. That's going to be a 1st down. Catch made there by DeAndre Ferrier, a junior out of Orlando. That's another 13-yard pickup, and the Pirates continue to move the chains.
And And this is when they like to go fast, although they're bringing in the tight end, Anthony Watley. First showing.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's making his first appearance after missing the first couple of games. They like him a lot. He might be a target here. Pressure coming. Herring dumps it off to the short man out of the backfield. That is Scott, who's a good receiver. And he'll pick up 3 there. Second and long coming up. In there on the tackle, Ronnie Hoggins Jr., the nickel position.
Nice job of Herring seeing that blitz and knowing where his immediate hot read was and zipping it out to the back to avoid a negative play and move the sticks a little bit.
Hoggins, an important player for the Bulls, number 19. He is, they call him the Major, and the coaches say he's their best defensive player.
He is really good inside the box, like another linebacker out there.
And now in the quarterback is Holton Ehlers, number 12. This usually indicates run. He'll keep it. And he'll get to midfield before he is taken down there by the linebacker, Nico Sautel.
Ehlers got into the game last week, Dave. 12 plays, 11 of them were runs. And now they'll bring in Reed Herring again. Looks like they might want to throw the football. Now, they did throw it the one time, but they like to use Ehlers in obvious running situations and in the red zone and near the goal line.
3rd and 4. Under pressure, tries that pattern down the middle. It's going to bust loose. And there is the tight end, Watley, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and dragged down inside the 5-yard line. That was 88, actually. Trayvon Brown, the outstanding senior receiver. Mike Hampton saved a touchdown.
Well, Mike Hampton got burned. Actually, he did. Mike Hampton, watch right there. He thought that ball was knocked down. He didn't even wrap up or attempt to make a tackle. He thought the play had been made. But somehow Brown came up with it and ended up getting chased down.
48 yards to the 2. Ehlers back in at quarterback. He'll keep it. And he'll score easily. ECU is on the board on their opening drive.
I thought it was kind of funny. We asked Scotty Montgomery if we would see Ehlers this week, and he goes, you have to wait and see.
Yeah, he didn't have to be that close to the vest. We kind of expected it anyway.
I just kind of chuckled a little bit. And there's also talk about redshirting him. You know, he can play 4 games now with the new rule. I don't see that happening either. He's been too effective running the football for them and taking care of their red zone woes where they struggled early in the year until he came in.
Well, the big play, the 48-yard hookup to Trayvon Brown. One-on-one, one of the most devastating receivers in the American.
Yeah, and I tell you what, tackle him no matter what. Hampton thought he had made a play. Turns out he didn't until about 40-some-odd yards later. And they finish it off with the Ehlers romp into the end zone. ECU up 7-0.
There's the freshman out of Greenville, Holton Ehlers, who along with Reed Herring matriculated the ball down the field for ECU and giving them a 7-0 lead. Now, USF in their home opener against Georgia Tech, or their first big game against Georgia Tech, that man right there, Terrence Horn Jr. out of Miramar, Florida, ran back consecutive kickoffs for touchdowns. We just learned before kickoff tonight that he is out for the season with a knee injury. That's a terrible blow. Guy was averaging 47 yards a return.
Leading the country.
Yep. So D'Angelo Antoine, number 13, is going to be asked to step in to some very fast shoes. And he's got some moves, but he also has a lot of white, purple, and yellow around him. So he'll get out to about the 20-yard line. And we'll take a look now at the junior, Blake Barnett. We mentioned Alabama, Arizona State were on his college football radar. He actually had a start at Alabama against USC, didn't last the game, and left the program, realizing that perhaps it wasn't the spot for him. Basically, he lost his job to Jalen Hurts.
Right, Jalen Hurts stepped in. Now Hurts knows how that feels, but I don't know that he's going to be leaving after 4 weeks like Barnett did. He ended up getting beat out by Manny Wilkins at Arizona State, so he left there and came here with 2 years of eligibility left.
And speaking of transfers from SEC schools, Jordan Cronkright, number 2 with the football, and he is a former Florida Gator. Alex Turner stops him after a couple. Cronkright played 24 games for the Gators, sat out last season under the transfer rules.
And he's averaging almost 6 yards a carry, and he's an exciting one to watch.
And they go out to Cronkright instead. He's going to play off one block to the 35 and around the 40-yard line. He stepped out of bounds. They're going to say the 41. He needs a yard.
You see Cronkright left early, and that established the width, and he was able to outrun the linebacker or the nickel that was in the slot.
So on 3rd and 1, they go back to the running back. Cronkright, and the junior from Miami, picks up 3 and a first down.
Good push up front by this Bulls offensive line. 3 returning starters, the right guard, and both tackles.
And man, do they recruit the state of Florida. An overwhelming number of their players are from the Sunshine State. Watch here for number 20, Johnny Ford, who was checked in, a freshman out of Miami High School.
There he goes.
And he got behind the defense. Ford is about 5'5", bouncing off tacklers, and a big gain down to the 16-yard line.
They brought Ford in. He's only 5'5", so I guess you could see why the defense wouldn't find him. But he comes out of the backfield right here and just runs an arrow route straight up the field. And he gets behind the linebacker, and it was dropped in nicely.
And he'll hang on to the football there for a gain out to about the 13, a gain of 3 as Ramsey are on the stop.
Here he is again. Take a look at this route. He's just going to run straight up the field, past the linebackers, and then the ball is dropped perfectly over the top, and there was nobody home. Finally got chased down by Devon Sutton.
Staying on the ground is USF, and it's going to be Ford. We were tipped off. You know, coaches sometimes don't give you a lot of information or they give you generic answers, but Charlie Strong tipped us off about Johnny Ford yesterday.
Yeah, he said, watch out for this kid. And he didn't tell us a whole lot, but he did throw in some nice praise for Johnny Ford.
He mentioned fast.
He did.
And he was right about that. Cronkright disappears. He's in there somewhere. Once again, that's Alex Turner, number 94, for the Pirates with a stop. Gets a couple of yards there. 2nd down and goal coming up.
Turner's having his way up front right now. They haven't been able to block him effectively.
He is a junior out of Houston. Now, late substitution for USF. The 8th play of the drive coming up. That allows the Pirates to substitute.
They brought in tight end Mitch Wilcox, who is a favorite target down in this area and also a good blocker.
Straight ahead. I keep thinking, Ray, that Barnett's going to hang on to one of those and take off.
He tried it once and it didn't work out so well for him, but he'll be more apt to do it down in this area of the field. And, you know, if you go back to the last 38 games before this season started, you had a kid who could put it in the end zone in Quentin Flowers.
He was spectacular. One of the most exciting players in all college football, Quentin Flowers, left behind a real legacy in Tampa. 3rd and goal. Barnett.
There he goes.
Touchdown Bulls.
Nice play call, partner.
Blind squirrel, acorn, whatever that expression is.
God bless you.
Yeah.
The sun hit you. And they must have saw what you saw, where the entire defense collapsed inside to try and stop the running back. Nobody stayed home. Somebody's got to have the discipline to keep their eyes right.
Oh, the PAT, somebody got a piece of that. It is no good. So Alex Turner looked like, again, was the disruptive force. So
they can't block him.
Nope. USF cannot get the tie, but they got the touchdown on the keeper by the junior from California, the part-time surfer, Blake Barnett.
ECU with a 1-point lead, and the reason is Alex Turner. He gets and fights through this middle and gets the block. Here he is right here, and watch the push he gets and fights through. They actually double-teamed the guy, and he snuck on the inside and blocked that thing. And Turner's been unblockable thus far.
That was the exclamation of a 9-play, 68-yard drive in 3 minutes and 34. And we'll see what the Pirates can do now to counterattack. This is Anthony Scott right up the middle, and they'll get to just shy of the 25-yard line. That's Penix. And he'll get 3 out of that. Gang tackled by that USF defense. Jamon Thomas, number 18. He himself an outstanding academician and a Werfel Trophy candidate in there on the stop, among others.
Reed Herring came out hot, Dave. First possession, hit on 4 of 6 for 76 yards. Second possession, he was 0 for 2, ran it once for -4. So he's got to get a little consistency to him.
Under pressure here, he gets this one off to Brown. I've got a feeling that we're going to see 7 versus 88 all night tonight here in Tampa, as Hampton and Brown seem to be partnered.
And that's a matchup I'm looking forward to. We saw Hampton miss one, but now he's made the last 2, and he's really a good cover man. He's got the great size for a corner, 6'1", 198-pounder.
There they are.
Just a sophomore.
Yep, out of Tampa.
And they're down here head-to-head again.
That's where they're going. And that is broken up by Hampton, and now a penalty marker comes in.
But who's it on? They were fighting each other. Usually it goes to on the defense if there's any question.
Pass interference, defense number 7. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's a tough call for Mike Hampton. They're battling each other. Hampton's trying to go for the ball. I didn't see it in that particular look.
Unless there was something earlier, but right there, no, that just looked like 2 guys fighting for a football.
It almost looked like Brown was playing defense and Hampton was the receiver.
Yeah, that didn't go over well on the big board when that one was shown here.
The
Bulls fans not overjoyed with that. First down, under 2.5 to go in this opening quarter. Fake to Scott. He wants his man, Brown, who had about half a step on Hampton. And it's going to be 2nd down and 10. If we do the Ocho again, these two might get their own show.
Yeah. Nice double move by Brown. He got a little bit of separation, and had it been a good, perfect throw, it would have been a nice deal. Just threw it a little bit outside, a little too wide. You got to give him room to make the catch and stay in bounds. And I think that Reed Herring will get better at it as he goes, but that's probably the last one that comes to you.
Ehlers is back in at quarterback. Now, will they run a little trick play? They do reverse it. This is Ferrier, and the USF tends to have a pretty fast defense, and they read that one beautifully. Nick Roberts came up from his strong safety position, a redshirt freshman out of Jacksonville, number 24, and ruined it. It'll be 3rd down and 10, and that will be the end of the opening quarter. Very good start to this football game in the American Conference, with ECU the early advantage thanks to a blocked extra point. Second quarter begins with ECU and USF territory. 3rd down and 10. Herring gets rid of it very quickly into double coverage for Prohl. Broken up. It'll be 4th down and 10. Hoggins in there on the coverage in that nickelback position.
And Herring threw that ball just a trifle early and behind Prohl. I thought he was open on it when he first made his cut, but then Hoggins closed in quickly and the ball wasn't thrown perfectly. And I didn't think they had to get it all on that one, Dave. They're in 4-down territory, especially with Holton Ehlers as your ace in the hole on 4th downs.
But it looks like they've got a little breeze at their backs too here. It's a beautiful evening in Tampa, by the way. It's humid, of course. It's Florida, but reasonable temperature for this time of the year. John Young, a former West Virginia Mountaineer, punts it high and too short, I think, unless it. Actually, a smart play there to fair catch that, because if he lets that go, that could have really rolled toward the end zone. Run. 20. Barnett going to fire. He's going to find a man open. That will be a 1st down, 34-yard line. A catch by a redshirt freshman who has been an early sensation, Randall St. Felix, out of Miami. He gains 10.
Yeah, Sterling Gilbert, the offensive coordinator for the Bulls, said he calls him St. Randall. And the kid's been playing like a saint. And he ran a little comeback route there, which is almost impossible to defend, and it's the favorite route in this offense.
That's his 17th catch already this year. Barnett wants to go long.
Got him.
Wide open. And this is going to be a touchdown for Darnell Solomon. 66 yards to the Miami Central High product.
It's a fake quick screen. Barnett gives the pump. Those guys act like they're going to block. Solomon takes off down the sideline, and nobody home for ECU. Kind of got him to bite on that cheese a little bit and then hit him long.
That is Barnett's 8th touchdown pass of the season, and 4 of those have gone to the junior receiver, Solomon. Now, the last PAT was rejected. Watch for Big 94 in the middle here again in white as he shifts over, sees a gap, but he can't get his hands on that one.
Not going to fool him twice.
So Blake Barnett, has he indeed found a home on the west coast of Florida after stops in Alabama and Arizona State? Can't get much easier than that one. First time tonight, USF has taken the lead. Darnell Solomon's 4th touchdown pass of the season from 66 yards out, capping off a 3-play, 81-yard drive in 63 seconds. And Blake Barnett is 4 of 5 for 123 yards. And we're going to show you how they got so wide open here in a moment. Here's Anthony Scott, and he's getting a chance to go wide open, and he'll get out to the 40-yard line, and the kicker takes him down.
Well, let's go back to that touchdown, have another look, and you're going to see Darnell Solomon. He's right here. But watch these defensive backs attack once they think that's the screen. All 3 guys got sucked up, only 2 back, but nobody on Solomon. That's a sneaky little play there.
Sterling Gilbert is the play caller. USF, for the first time in 4 years, had their 2 coordinators return. They've been going through coordinators like crazy. And, of course, Charlie Strong's in his 2nd year here, and he brought in a lot of the guys he had from Texas, and they have worked out well.
Corner blitz.
Big-time corner blitz, and they missed the tackle. So Anthony Scott ran past the blitzer, picked up 8. Roberts on the stop.
Looked like Devondre Robinson was the blitzer coming off the edge, and he whiffed. And that's a nice move by Scott, seeing where that pressure came from and knowing he's got room if he can get by that initial tackler.
They need 2. They got 1. 3rd down and a yard coming up. Short gain. McGee is in on yet another tackle. He is 13th in the country in tackles and leads the American Conference. Scott's going to check out. Here comes Holton Ahlers again, number 12. And he brings Darius Penix, number 7, with him.
And one of these times, Ahlers is going to fake that run and throw one over their heads. I just don't know when it's going to happen, but I know they've got it in their mix.
Ahlers going to keep it, and he's going to get a first down and plenty more plays off. A nice block from Watley, and he'll get into Bulls territory to the 39-yard line.
And it looks like they're going to leave him in there and keep going, but he has great vision. That's one thing I saw on the film watching him preparing for this game was he doesn't just slam up in there. He's got really good vision and is able to make the cuts and get to where he needs to.
Here could be your pass. The lefty is going to throw it up and nobody home. Trying to get to Brown, and guess what? Hampton was right with him. It'll be 2nd down and 10, and just like that, Reed Herring returns to quarterback.
Yeah, that's the shot they wanted to take, and they've taken their share of them. That's the 5th time they've gone over top so far here tonight.
Penix tripped up. Back to the line of scrimmage he goes. Now you've got 3rd down and 4 coming up.
Kevin Bronson makes that tackle, backup interior lineman. And this defense, after the first series, they've settled down.
Yeah, there's no doubt. ECU was 3 out of 4 at the beginning on 3rd downs. They're now 1 of their last 5.
Brian Jean-Marie, the defensive coordinator, got in some people's ear, it looks like.
That is he right there with that bright green hat on. Herring hit right after he threw it, and it's incomplete. It was in and out of the hands of Ferrier. 4th down and 4 coming up, and looks like the punt team is coming out.
And they run a crossing route, a scissors route, and see Prohl right here? That's where the ball needs to go. He's wide open, but instead they stuck it in the middle. However, if you catch the football, which would be a reasonable request, that would have been a first down.
Pressure. Young has had a punt partially blocked already today. And a fair catch made, we think, at the 20-yard line. Yes, the play has been blown dead. 30 yards on that punt. So Blake Barnett got off the first series, was 3 and out. Having a quick word from his play caller right there.
Yeah, he is 7 of 8 since that first series, Dave, with a touchdown toss and 129 yards. He's settled in fairly nicely.
And he has settled in his life, it seems. Married with a young son, Brooks. Ooh, that was almost a pick 6.
I'm surprised nobody's jumping on that football.
Kendall Futrell with a swat, incomplete, the ruling on the field. 2nd down and 10.
Let's see if this thing is a backwards pass at all. No, it's forward, but those are the kind of balls you jump on. I mean, let the official call it and make sure you've got it covered. But a nice play getting upfield, and that's what this defensive line does now. And they're blitzing as well.
Barnett in a little bit of trouble, ran into his own man, trying to run in a phone booth, no chance. Alex Turner will get the credit for the tackle, but Jalen Price, also 93, helped out. And tell you what, this Pirate defense is so much better than it was a year ago.
I tell you what, David Blackwell deserves a lot of credit for turning this thing around. As you said, Dave, they were the worst defense in the country last year, giving up 540-plus yards and 45 points a game. That was both of those, 129th in CFB.
Pressure again on Barnett. He gets away and avoids the sack and dumps it off to Cronkright, who will be short of the first down, and a very late penalty marker comes in. There
were about 3 linemen downfield because the play took so long. It was a screen pass, but the ball was caught beyond the line of scrimmage. So they're going to have an illegal lineman downfield, and you can choose from about 3 of them.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Both are against the defense. Pass interference, offense number 89 for blocking downfield. Ineligible player downfield, offense number 79. Both of those penalties will be declined. It is 4th down.
All right, he misspoke there, got his defense and offense mixed up, but instead of 3rd and very long, they're going to go ahead and take the football here on 4th down.
Good decision there. Get that football back. Defense did a nice job with another stand.
That's the 4th 3 and out for the ECU defense this evening. Whoa, this punt is rocketed. Man, that's going to check up beautifully. A tremendous punt by the sophomore from Sydney, Australia, Trent Schneider. Handoff on a little wham, and Penix, getting a lot of carries tonight, is brought down by Josh Black after a 6-yard gain.
Penix showed some good feet there. He made a man miss in the hole. He could have been stopped for a little or no gain, and instead olayed the tackler and picked up 7 yards.
His average was 13 beforehand. It's going to go down a little bit. 7 carries, 27 yards. Herring, little dump off here, and this is Watley, and he'll get a first down. He's dumped at the 35-yard line, make it the 36. By Wilkins, that's a solid gain of 10.
And that was the first RPO that I've seen tonight from this ECU offense, which has been in the past couple of games a big part of what they do, where the quarterback will make a decision after the snap on whether to hand it off or make a throw. He made a nice decision there. Watley wide open.
Anthony Scott on this carry, brought down at midfield. Short gain there. Clean tackle by Kirk Livingstone. Their outstanding student athlete, all academic on the honor roll. Kevin Kegler also in there.
Livingstone made a nice play because that thing almost got by him, but his quick change of direction allowed him to get in there and grab a leg.
And the battle continues. Our sideshow tonight, Trayvon Brown versus Mike Hampton, and that's a chalk mark on the Hampton side. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
And Reed Herring missed it. Prohl again, who was open, probably enough for the first down, but he's trying to go get more and throw it down the field. And I don't blame him trying to get it to Trayvon Brown, who comes up with a lot of those 50-50 balls. Not so much tonight. 8 targets, just 2 grabs. Give Hampton the credit for that.
Looking in that direction again, and instead it's Prohl who's wide open, and he'll get down to the 30-yard line as he bounced off of Roberts, and Roberts came back and made the stop. That's a 20-yard pickup. And time running out here, 1:09 to go.
They're going to run a wheel route right here, and that's going to allow Prohl to get open on the inside because they paid so much attention to him. See that corner? Hampton was hanging way out on the outside, respecting that wheel route.
Both teams have all 3 of their timeouts remaining in the half. Very little pitch
Halfback
out. Could
pass.
be a pass. Yep. Trying to get it back to Herring. Brown's going to take off. USF read that nicely. That stops the clock with 27 seconds to go.
All right, here you go. You got the old toss to the outside. Quarterback trying to sneak out the back door. It wasn't there. A nice look by Trayvon Brown. He saw, nope, that's not going to happen, and he just made the best of it.
2nd down and 12. They lost 2 on that gadget play. They have a good kicker in Jake Verity, who's 5 for 5 in field goals this year. Short gain there to Prohl to the 10. Clock running. And now it's stopped by East Carolina with 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Use that
ECU
timeout.
takes their 2nd charge timeout of the half.
Still have 1 left.
This is a full 1-minute timeout.
If they have to kick a field goal, save that one to stop it. But this way the entire field is open to you. 3rd down here coming up in 5.
Herring stays in a quarterback for ECU as Barnett will watch his opposite number here on 3rd down and 5.
See if they don't go back to Prohl again, sitting right down here.
Or do they go to the fade, maybe to Brown? Herring will keep it. Herring, that should be, they may have stopped him just short, and Herring could be shaken up a little bit too.
I think he's got a tough mark. That should have been marked as a 1st down.
Well, the clock's going to stop with 15 seconds to go.
He had to get to the 5-yard line.
Well, let's see here. We haven't heard from the replay booth yet today. We might on this one.
Herring notices.
By rule, with a player who is injured under 1 minute, there is a 10-second runoff, or ECU can take a timeout to avoid that. They will take their 3rd and final charge timeout of the half.
I'm also a little bit surprised at the initial spot. The official from the far side of the field spotted him a little shy of the 5-yard line. And they just now, right before the referee made that little speech, changed the marker from a 3 to a 1. They never did put a 4 in there.
Their mechanics weren't right. You have to spot the football first and foremost, and then you go off of that. And they finally did get it correct.
So Ehlers, and he does have that timeout. He's in trouble, and down he goes, sacked at the 12, and the timeout. Scotty Montgomery, a 3rd of the way on the field to make the call on the timeout as Josh Black came in unblocked.
ECU takes their 3rd and final charge timeout of the half. This is the 30-second timeout.
Big play by Black. There you see nobody touched Black. He came off the edge, and Holton Ehlers had nowhere to go with the football. And he didn't really try to take a timeout. He's a young quarterback. That's why Scotty Montgomery ran out onto the field to get it called.
Jake Verity. You'll never have Reed Herring as the holder here because Verity wears the same number as Herring. So your holder is the punter, John Young. This will be from 28 for Verity, who hasn't missed a kick. And stays perfect on the season as the clock will run out. First score since the opening drive for ECU. So they score on their first drive of the half. They score on their last drive of the half. USF will head to the dressing room with the advantage, 13-10, and they will get the football to start the 3rd quarter. Good action in the American tonight on a humid evening on the west coast of Florida. A beautiful evening to watch the American Conference on ESPN from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa with Ray Bentley, Dave Lamont, and our ESPN crew. A rowdy yard here at Ray J.
And they've been treated to a good half of football thus far, Dave. Only 2 penalties in this ball game. It's been really cleanly played. Good plays on both sides, both teams, both offense and defense.
No penalties on the Pirates in that opening half. And the 2 on USF, not even 20 yards for the penalties. You take a look at Blake Barnett. His unit will get the ball first. Pretty clean game played by the junior. And the nice news for Sterling Gilbert, the coordinator, and of course for head coach Charlie Strong is Barnett has 2 years here in Tampa. So they can really start to open things up as the year goes along and in the next year.
Yeah, he could get a master's. He's already graduated.
Yeah.
So he's got his bachelor's degree and he's got 2 more years to go after whatever else he wants educationally.
So with Terrence Horn out of action for the remainder of the season, unfortunately, if you watched the USF Georgia Tech game, you saw Horn run back 2 kickoffs on consecutive kickoffs for touchdowns. And it was revealed tonight that he has a torn ACL and will be lost for the season. And that is just awful news, but he's a freshman and he's young, so I'm sure he'll get great care and heal as quickly as possible. And there he is.
Yeah, and he'll get a red shirt out of this year, being a true freshman and only playing in a couple of games.
So now Barnett. He'll have the former Gator Jordan Cronkright in the backfield with him. He wants to come out throwing. Going to go deep down the field, and it is well defended that time by Corey Sargent, number 5, a senior from Rock Hill, South Carolina. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
And Blake Barnett has to learn to get some air under the ball. He just throws pretty much a straight shot missile on the deep ball. You want to try and drop it in over the top of that defensive back. And that one, the height of that ball allowed Sargent to come up and make a play on it. Yep. I like taking the shot, first play of the series, first play of the half coming out, and just put that in that defense's mind. Back them up a little bit. It'll open up things for you down the road.
And Barnett stepping into the pocket, gets the throw off that time. The ball is fumbled. Now it's a recovery by East Carolina. Witherspoon falls on the ball, and the ruling on the field is a catch and a fumble, and it's the first turnover by USF.
I think this is a good call. We'll take another look
Ruling
at it.
on the field is a catch and a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, ECU.
Barnett did a great job of waiting for that thing to come open. And Devondre Robinson with the hit, forcing that fumble.
He's nicknamed Tank. And Witherspoon wound up with the ball at the 40-yard line. So D'Angelo Antoine getting some extra playing time at receiver today with Horn out and a couple of other players missing for USF, including Bronson.
Rasheed Bronson out of this one.
We've seen Ehlers throw the ball once today. He's thrown 2 passes all season. He'll keep it. Good run there. And not an easy guy to bring down, as we mentioned. He's a big fella. Gets about 15. Jamon Thomas was able to wrap him up and take him down, but a big gain.
Great decision on the zone read. There's nobody here to get him. So why not just take it up the field and then get what you can and then be physical at the end. And he's big enough to be physical, almost 240 pounds coming at you.
So Herring back in, hands to Penix, and you could see number 94, Kirk Livingstone, just jump on his back immediately. Number 73 is a redshirt freshman from Clayton, North Carolina. 2nd down and 14. Penix, he might have lost a little bit there. Seen a lot of this sophomore from Elon, North Carolina.
Josh Black got in there and made that tackle. This defensive line trying to rise up. And this is a 3rd and long here. Got our little matchup up the top of the screen again. See if they go back that way. Hampton on Brown.
Going the other direction, a little bit high, but Prohl makes the catch. The 10, Prohl gets down to about the 6. He needed to get to the 5.
Ooh, now you got a tough call right here, and I think you tie this game up. Kick the 3, and that's what they're going to do, and I think that's a good decision by Coach Montgomery. There's no guarantees. This is a long 2 yards here to make, so you got a lot of faith in Verity, the kicker. Go ahead and knock this thing up.
Yeah, Verity's 1 for 1 tonight. Has made all of his kicks so far this season. 8 of 8 PATs, 6 for 6 field goals. Junior from Georgia. This from 24 to tie it up. So USF pays a 3-point penalty for their fumble. Scotty Montgomery's team has tied it up. So USF had the football to start the quarter, turned it over, and the Pirates made him pay for 3.
And this Pirate defense is rising up. 3 of the last 4 drives, 3 of them were 3 and outs, and then the last one was the fumble. So this defense has figured something out.
We'll get a touchback taken here and out to the 25-yard line.
It's been a dominating performance by this Pirate defense since basically after the first minute of the second quarter.
And Barnett with a shifty move on the keeper. Sutton brings him down.
And they were due for one of those because they've been giving them that inside run time in that zone time and time again. And the guy who has quarterback eventually falls asleep because he's never coming. And then when he does, nobody's home.
2nd and 2. Cronkright, first really big run for him today. He gets into Pirates territory at the 48-yard line. Devondre Robinson on the stop. That is by far Cronkright's best carry.
Yeah, and you're going to see they had a blitz coming up, and that was Ramseur, number 51, so he couldn't play the other gap, and there was nobody home for that one. Nice execution.
First down and 22 minutes on the clock. Now Barnett stepping away from the pressure. He's going to have to throw it away.
That's one of the few times I've seen Blake Barnett actually roll out to his left, and he had to, but his preference.
No foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback was out of the tackle box. The ball went beyond the line of scrimmage.
His preference is to get to his right, and that's where he instinctively goes. Looks like Sutton's going to come on a nickel blitz right here. Now they changed out of it.
And Sutton drops back. McCants, short gain there. It'll be 3rd and long, maybe 2 yards on the quick out.
Little chess match going on right there between Sterling Gilbert, the offensive coordinator for USF, and David Blackwell, the defensive coordinator for ECU.
That's Gilbert right there.
Both teams looking over the sidelines, getting last-minute instructions.
On 3rd and 8, Barnett holding, firing now at the 40-yard line. And a first down coming up for USF. Darnell Solomon, who has a touchdown catch tonight. Gains 13. And don't forget, a blocked extra point is why we are at 13 all. ECU blocked an extra point early. Cronkright ad-libbing, and he went right back into the arms of Alex Turner.
I think it was Turner who had him initially. He got away, but Turner stayed alive and stuck with it and ended up making the tackle.
Well, he has been outstanding tonight for ECU. The junior from Houston. Man.
You got to put that mouth guard in, though.
Pressure. Barnett looking down, lobbing it downfield.
That was a throwaway.
Yep, 3rd and 9.
Great coverage down on that sideline by Devondre Robinson, and there was just no room, nothing happening, and Barnett made a good decision just to get rid of it, live to fight another down.
Not sure they're in field goal range. Low snap for Barnett. A lot of pressure. He's in trouble. They're out of field goal range right now for anybody.
Nate Harvey.
Wow.
Coming off the edge. He leads this team and is ranked in the nation. Coming in, he had 5.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, and give him another one there. And that low snap didn't help, but watch out from the left side. Here he comes. Boom.
So we don't have to worry about field goal range. Now Trent Schneider is going to have to take a little something off of this punt because we know he's got a strong leg. Now we'll see how delicate he can be. Third quarter is over. East Carolina held USF to 34 yards in the quarter, and they're due to get the football back when the fourth quarter begins in a moment. So East Carolina, by having that player pull up injured, ended up saving a timeout. The quarter ran out, and now we'll find out if Trent Schneider can take a little off the kick. He does. Does a nice job tucking that inside the 20-yard line. But Ray, this Pirate defense is not going to finish last this year.
No, they sure aren't. Not after the way they're getting after it tonight. And the guy who's led the charge made that sack, Alex Turner. And then he got some help from Kendall Futrell. He gets himself a sack, and then a big hit from Tank Robinson, forcing the fumble. That led to 3 points. And then you got Cannon Gibbs with a sack, and then the most recent one right there coming from Nate Harvey.
But USF defense only surrendered 3 points in the quarter, and that block PAT is really sticking out right now. Holton Ahlers will start as the quarterback in this quarter, and he hands off to Darius Penix, who gets across or to the 20-yard line for a gain of 4.
One of the things having a threat of running the football at quarterback will do, it'll open up the other things for the running back, because you've got to commit resources to make sure that quarterback doesn't gash you like he has been.
142 yards on the ground for the Pirates, only 31 for the Bulls. His third pass of his career is caught by the tight end Anthony Watley. Watley will be short of the first down. So it sets up a real great running situation here. 3rd and 2.
First career completion.
Yep, he's now 1 for 3 lifetime. He'll get more.
Yes, he will. I would like to see him throw the ball more and see what he's got in that area of the game. But as far as managing things, running the show, and then running with the football, he's been outstanding.
They move it back to the 23 on 3rd down and 3. Ahlers going to keep it. Ahlers, no. He had to get to the 26. So on top, you saw Thomas, and underneath, Josh Black cut him down. It's 4th and a yard to go.
Yeah, and I think East Carolina needs some new plays for Ahlers. There are a lot of ways you can run the quarterback. We've only seen really 3 plays for him running the football, and that's the straight ahead play and then the zone read where he's kept it. So really only 2 plays.
Tonight the Pirates wearing those special helmets with the United Carolinas there with the Pirate logo on top, the One Carolina sticker. They have played an inspired game for having an unplanned off week because of a hurricane.
They ran into
now
the kicker.
they ran into the kicker, and there's a flag down.
And that's going to be a first down for East Carolina.
They had been beating up John Young all night, but nobody touched the ball this time.
And Young is doing the perfunctory lay on the field after you get roughed a little bit just to make sure that the officials do reach into the pocket.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense number 13. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Juwan Cherry on special teams. And
although it looked like Antoine ran into it, it
right.
actually hit his own man too. Watch this again. They collide. And then down goes the punter.
I think it was McBride who actually
roughed
the kicker.
Yeah, McBride got his leg off the collision. So a huge mistake made. Young has done his job.
Looks like he's all right now.
Yes, he could play in the World Cup. I shouldn't say that. You know what? That wasn't my leg that got hit.
Right.
But he made sure that the officials saw it. But he's had a tough game. He's had a couple of partially blocked punts today.
He's been on the ground 3 times.
Quick throw here, incomplete. Intended for Prohl off the hand of Reed Herring. Nick Roberts in coverage that time.
Yeah. And Herring, he hung his head after that one because he knows that was just a poor throw. Kroll was open. All he had to do was get it on target, and they'd have been in a nice little situation. As it is, it's 2nd and 10. They're behind the chains.
We haven't called Trayvon Brown's name in a while. He is in coverage. Of course, it's being covered by Mike Hampton at the 40 at the bottom of your screens. Herring looks to him there on the slant, and he beat Hampton that time and gets thrown down for a first down.
Another nice play call by you. Get that ball back to Trayvon Brown. They must be listening.
We love any kind of viewers from anywhere, man.
You're calling a heck of a game so far, brother.
Well, ECU beginning to take a little bit of time off the play clock. Kroll in motion. Well, handoff gap opened up there, and that's a big tackle. Because Anthony Scott had a first down in mind there, and he got tripped up after 5 yards.
And Josh Black was a little late coming off the edge from the top of your screen, and that created this seam, but he was able to redirect and just get the toe of Anthony Scott and get him down, or that thing would have been busted out into the next level.
You do feel like USF is on the ropes in this half. But again, the defense comes up big, stuffing the run play for no gain. And you see again coming up in that safety position, Roberts.
And South Florida, they brought both inside linebackers up late to try to help plug run holes on that one, and it worked effectively for them.
Is this 2-down territory for the Pirates?
I would say it is. Depending on how far they have to go. We'll see what happens with this play.
Quick throw. And Hampton broke it up. Henley was the intended receiver. 4th and 5. Big decision here for Scotty Montgomery. His defense has played lights out in this half.
You kicked this at 4th and 5, Dave. Pin him back. Your defense is playing so good right now. I wouldn't mess with that whole thing right there. Pin him back and make him go the whole field. Maybe they'll rough your punter again. Who knows?
I don't know what you do. USF has been able to get close to him a lot. He got knocked down again, but that time there'd be no penalty. And this is an absolutely near perfect kick. It dies between the 4 and 5 yard lines. John Young getting it done with a 41-yard punt. So we have a little correction there. They snuck Jake Verity on the field to punt while John Young apparently has been shaken up and isn't feeling well. And so Verity did a magnificent job. He too got knocked down. Now the 4th quarter has been great for Blake Barnett and USF, but he's got a long way to go here.
This is where he cranks it up. We'll see if he's still got that in him.
He cranks out a throw here to the flat, and now Antoine gets across the 15-yard line and a first down for the Bulls. They haven't had many in this half.
And those guys are good on the edge of making tacklers miss, and when they do, look out, because a big play is coming at you.
Keeps it after faking the handoff. We'll get a couple. Tackle made that time by 46, Chance Purvis.
Sterling Gilbert's trying to put a different mix and run some new plays that he hasn't shown just yet, to do something to shake this offense out of their malaise.
Straight ahead. Pop it through! Cronk right! 30, 20, 10, and that's the way it is! Touchdown, USF! And that is Mom right there, celebrating while sticking to the stadium policy of bringing in a clear bag.
Well
80
done.
yards.
They caught him in a zone blitz. They had a defensive lineman bail out of there at the end. and it opened things up big time. And that's all Cronkite needed was that little gap, and away he went.
One PAT has been blocked already. This one is money. 20-13. Great blocking this time by that Bull line.
Yeah, and this offense cranks it up in the fourth quarter. Apparently, that's what they need, and they got it on the huge run by Cronkite. They're up 7. USF jumps out to a 7-point lead after the 80-yard touchdown run by Cronkite. And check out what happens here. The linebacker, Gibbs, is going to bail out instead of usually folding over where he would make this play. He's gone. He's on a buzz technique. He's dropping to the pass immediately, and nobody's home in the middle of that field. And that's all Cronkite needed was that little seam, and he busted it out to the house.
This has been the USF's pattern this year. Fourth quarters, offensively, they light it up. In the early going in this season, this first month, he's done 100 yards again. Of course, 80 of those were on that carry.
Yeah, before that carry, he had 9 carries for 35 yards. Now he's got 10 for $110.
Boy, and you can feel the crowd feel that jolt against Anthony Scott at the 18-yard line. Charlie Strong, quick conversation with his defensive coordinator. 2 defensive minds on the same page. Blitz, quick throw, quick catch, and Ferrier ruled down by contact.
That was one of the first times tonight I've seen the Bulls play cover 3 in just a 3-man or 3-deep zone, dropping underneath, and it's a change-up call. Most of the time they're a 1-high safety man-to-man type of football team.
There you see Jean-Marie with that bright hat on. Going over the top. Brown. Wow, what a grab.
And they're starting to throw the ball inside more when they go up to those fade routes or back shoulder routes. And I tell you what, I think that's a great move because Herring throws it much better. I think when he gets along the sidelines, he has a tendency to throw it out of bounds on him.
And they appear to be playing with a little bit faster pace, too, the Pirates offensively. Pressure right in his face, throws incomplete. Unblocked defender came ripping in there. Looked like McGee, number 2, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, they brought the house. McGee came off the edge, and Herring didn't get it out of his hands fast enough. He had an open receiver throwing behind the blitz, but he just didn't get it out quick enough. Wasn't able to control it with the pressure coming at him.
You must like these aggressive defenses.
I do.
Tonight.
I like it when they're getting after it. It's like a cover 3 again for the Bulls, though, and it is.
Quick, Brown, had he broken that tackle, and he knows that Reeves brought him down. That's the defensive end. Greg Reeves in coverage that time. So here comes another big 3rd down and about 4 to go.
Yeah, they've been dropping Reeves out tonight, covering the flat, which is a long way to go for a big defensive end, but he did it perfectly.
Another blitz, McGee up the middle, another quick throw, and it's caught by Pro. Roberts was convinced he had the interception. He started to run down the other way.
He was thinking touchdown dance.
And instead, it's a 1st down.
Boy, talk about your game of inches. Herring with the whip gets that ball out there just enough. And how about Pro with the hands? He just basically stole that thing from Roberts.
More pressure coming up the middle. Herring off the back foot.
He threw it away.
Yep. Hampton got a hand on it anyway, but Brown was out of bounds. So it'll be 2nd and 10. USF is not backing down now on pressure.
No, and they've had some success with it the last few times they've dialed it up. So I say continue with that because it puts a lot of stress on Reed Herring. They do.
They bring it again. Herring, though, he's got some time, and then one-on-one battles right now. Hampton involved one more time, this time with Henley, who made a beautiful catch earlier. So here comes 3rd down and 10. East Carolina, 2 timeouts. South Florida, USF with 3.
I like how Hampton adjusted. You know, he got beat with a receiver getting in front of him where he was behind the guy. He worked his way to get in front of the receiver that time, and it made all the difference.
This time they rush 3. Tough throw for Herring. No dice.
Oh, good pressure with just bringing 3. Force Herring to just throw that away, basically.
4th down and 10. Now this is, what do you do here?
I think you go for it.
All right.
I mean, in this field position, your defense is going to have to make a play for you. If you don't get it, and he's going to punt it. I'm surprised.
Well, John Young is returning. We saw John missed the punt. Jake Verity did a great job. John wasn't feeling well, to be generous, and is now back on there. So I'm happy to see that he's doing better.
I don't know. I would go for this one.
Well, do you fake it?
You only have 2 timeouts. Nah, it's not with 10 yards to go.
Too crazy? All right. Young, high kick. And a touchback. USF, can they finish this game off to remain undefeated? You can watch it on the ESPN app, like perhaps you're watching this game in the American Conference to see if USF can run out the clock.
I'm surprised that East Carolina hasn't taken the timeout. They got 2 left. Apparently they're going to use them after 2nd and 3rd downs here. I was surprised they didn't go for it on the 4th and 10.
Well, there's no motivation for USF to snap this for another 20 seconds.
No, they're going to eat every one of them. East Carolina brought the house on that last one, run blitz, trying to plug every hole.
Down to 3, 2, and a 2. They snap it. And Cronkite, boy, took a shot across the face, but he got to the 25-yard line, and now we hear whistles and a timeout after that 4-yard gain. ECU with 1 remaining.
ECU takes their second charge timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
2:19 remaining, so your ball game almost pretty much rests on this play.
It does.
If they can make a stop.
And the ECU defense has 7 3-and-outs tonight. They need one right now, and they've got a chance here on a 3rd and 4. This is your ball game pretty much right here.
Cronkite, very close.
Didn't get it. He's a yard short.
He is a yard short. Do you call a timeout right away?
ECU takes their 3rd and final charge timeout of the half.
There's your answer.
This is a 30-second timeout.
So they will get the ball back. They will do so without a timeout.
But it worked out perfectly for Scotty Montgomery. He's able to force a punt, and then now they've got a couple minutes left, and they can control the clock in various ways, but they're out of timeouts. And boy, what a great play by Nate Harvey of just getting the ankle here of Cronkite, or he would have been gone through that middle again.
So Trent Schneider's done an excellent job today. He's averaged almost 50 yards over his 8 punts, and he has unleashed a 72-yarder today. The 28-year-old from Sydney, Australia, a former soccer goalie, has got to rip one here. And he did. Checks back to the 23-yard line. So for East Carolina to get 6, they've got 2:05. And they've got to go from their own 23-yard line without a timeout. Here we go. Herring, first throw is intercepted at the 43-yard line. Nick Roberts comes up with a football.
I know you like icing, Dave.
I do.
There's some icing for you. Just an underthrown ball by Reed Herring. He's trying to back shoulder it, and he went too far back. And a really nice defensive play, too, of keeping his eye on the football by Roberts and then making that catch, because that wasn't easy. Todd Dean's leg kicked up on that football at the end, too, and he still was able to get it.
First turnover of the night. Well, something about the 4th quarter and USF. They didn't have to make a double-digit comeback tonight.
Nick Roberts over there telling people about it. First career interception a game saver for these Bulls.
Well, the DBs were taxed tonight. Roberts certainly was taxed, as Barnett will take his time taking a knee. Mike Hampton worked incredibly hard. Thomas in the run game. Wilkins at corner. All those DBs for the Bulls played really well tonight.
They did. And you know what? They got some good work up front from some guys, too, and especially Kirk Livingstone. We called his name on plays all night along with Kevin Bronson. I think the defense rose up and did what they had to do.
I'm guessing Charlie Strong's going to let this run down and then take a timeout. He's got all of his available, while Scotty Montgomery does not.
He'll just take a knee and snap it with a second or two left.
That's true. He could also, yeah, you're right.
They can just run this thing out.
And that's a quick knee there. Sports Center will be coming up next. This one ended up being a real thriller. Underwhelming offensively to what some people thought it was going to be, but ended up being a taut defensive thriller. USF is going to win this game, Ray, with 9 first downs.
Yeah, they keep living on borrowed time. You know, they have pulled out a couple. There's no way they should have beat Illinois at the end of the week game last week, but yet they pulled it out. This is a tough-minded group.
Time of possession with just a few ticks left on the clock. The Pirates had the ball for over 38 minutes.
And the Bulls under 20 so far.
Yep. But the big play, the 80-yard run by Jordan Cronkright, ends up with 129 rushing, and USF stays undefeated. They go to 1-0 in the American, and they're 4-0 overall. They were in the also receiving votes category when the latest polls came out. They'll pick up a few more votes with a very hard-earned victory at home between an East Carolina team, an ECU squad that is clearly improved over last season, especially on the defensive end.
Yeah, East Carolina University has nothing to hang their head over on this one. They played extremely tough, played well, just came up a little short, but their future's looking a lot better right now.
We want to thank our entire crew, captained by our puppet master, Scott Gustafson, and director Bonnie Riley. For Ray Bentley and everyone who worked on this one tonight, I'm Dave Lamont. We thank you for watching. We say good night from Tampa. SportsCenter is next.